Hello, good evening. It is Friday. It's just gone 7:30. It can only be one thing. It is, of course, the regular Arsenal Women's Show. It's been a tough week for the Arsenal women, actually, but we have had some good news today. We will come on to that very shortly. The other side of this. So it is the Arsenal Women's Show, of course. As always, every Friday we are back with some more discussion about everything that's going on in the Arsenal women. So it's been a tough week actually, following the result last weekend, which we will talk about. Good to have the guys back again. Andreas, welcome again. Are you okay this week?
Yeah, not too bad. Glad to be back, and there's a lot to talk about. A lot happened, even not on the pitch, but a lot happened to talk about.
Yeah, no, it's been a strange week in many ways, but it's good. Matt as well, welcome back. I know you wasn't available last week. It's good to have you back.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad to be back, and this is the first show of the new year for me. So a very late Happy New Year to both of you and Harry. Sorry, I'm spoiled whoever's the next guest for anyone who wanted to guess.
But no, thanks for coming. I'll say Happy New Year to you as well. I know obviously he wasn't around last week, and of course he's back again. It's been a while. We've missed him. It's Harry back in the show. How you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm excited to be back. Thank you very much. It's always great to have these shows and share all our ideas and opinions.
And Happy New Year to you as well, of course. Because it's your first show of the year as well. So a slightly different looking panel tonight than last week's show. Unfortunately, Amar can't be with us tonight. It's his birthday, actually. So we need to say happy birthday to Amar, of course, a regular on the panel. It is his birthday tonight. That's why he's not here. No doubt, he'll be back.
Should we sing a happy birthday for him?
Maybe we should, shouldn't we? Because he'll probably be watching it some stage later. Maybe we should sing happy birthday to Amar, because he
do it at the end, so then he has to wait all the way towards the end to.
Yeah, do it to the end so he watches it all. Yeah, we'll do it at the end for him. But it is his birthday today, so happy birthday to Amar. So we'll look at that a bit later. Now, obviously, the problem, or I'll say the issue sometimes when you're playing a live show, you're playing it 2 or 3 days ahead, and you're all ready to go with it, and then suddenly at the last minute, some news breaks, and you kind of have to throw your schedule in the bin and start again. So we were going to start with a game last weekend. We will talk about that, but there's only really one place we can start this evening, of course, and that was the big news from a couple of hours ago. So a nice shiny new signing. It's not just any old signing. It is actually what I believe is one of the top players in European football, one of the top strikers. A fantastic signing for Arsenal. I mean, there's been talk of it anyway for a while. It looked as though it was on the cards, but it's finally been unveiled this evening through the deal has been done. I mean, Andreas, you must be excited about this signing. It's a great news for the club, isn't it? We've had a difficult week, but this has cheered us all up, hasn't it?
Yeah, this is a really great signing, and although it was not a big surprise anymore because the rumor was going around the whole week. Nevertheless, I think everybody was waiting for this announcement, and so I'm really happy about it. And above all, she's one of the best strikers in Europe, I think. And she's only 25 years young, so this is really a signing for the future. And she was a free agent, so the chance must have taken right now. We couldn't wait until summer. I think she would have signed for another club. And the first, what we all heard was she was close to sign with Man United. So it's really great that Jonas made it possible that she said, she committed her future with Arsenal. She was playing for Häcken in Champions League, and I saw her against Bayern Munich. Of course, she was the best player in this team. She was the one who brought the danger for the goal, and she scored the 1-0 in Sweden, in Häcken against Bayern Munich, and this was totally showing her quality. She has a very big pace. She's very fast, and she had this one chance and she scored. So I think it's a really quality signing for us, and a sign for the future that we are strengthening our attacking line. And I'm happy about it.
No, I'm delighted about it because, as you say, she's at a good age. Almost coming into the peak of her career. She's got a great goal scoring record, actually. 184 club goals in 245 club appearances. That's a fantastic strike rate. She's also got 22 goals in 72 appearances for Sweden. So, although she is only 25, as Andreas said, she's got a lot of experience and a lot of goals as well behind her. Fantastic player that she is. And, she has played in the Champions League already this season. Matt, you must have been excited about this signing when the news broke. As Andrea said, it wasn't a total surprise because there's been rumours about it for a while, but it's good to finally get it over the line, and a big statement signing as well, isn't it, halfway through the season?
Yeah, and the fact that we're missing 4 players, 2 of those being forwards, this is a good step in the right direction. I mean, Jonas, in his preview in the last game, we won't talk about that much. I'm joking. We probably will, and I'll probably go on a rant. But this was one of the issues he was saying, is that because of the COVID rules, he can't bring players in. So this was probably done, let's say, December 31st. This was done. It was signed, sealed, delivered, and she was in the country on the 1st. But because of the COVID rules, she wasn't allowed to play against Birmingham, and it's only just now she's allowed to play. I'm excited for her, not only because it's a new challenge for her, but that Häcken team has been, I think, 2 or 3 of those players now have gone from over to Sweden into the WSL. So they're here to show off not just Sweden, but show what they can do, and perhaps be more of a better target for other clubs, put themselves in the window over the summer with the Euros coming on as well.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I mean, there are a few now playing, of course, in the WSL. I mean, Harry, do you think that obviously Jonas being from Sweden as well was an influence, as Andreas? She must know Jonas from Sweden as well. Do you think that played a part? I mean, it's a big signing for the club, isn't it?
So here's the thing. I don't know. I've never seen her play. This is a person whose reputation I've heard of. So I know her reputation, but I've never seen her play. Do I say that? Sweden. She played against the Netherlands in the World Cup. Right. But if I have to be honest, I don't remember her because I was so focused on the Netherlands, and also back in 2019, that was when I got into women's football. So the names would have been sort of coming to me at that point. But I know by reputation, and she's a phenomenal striker. I think she did, didn't she? It was her goal that knocked out the USA in the Olympics. Is that right? Am I right in saying that? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
So I'm interested to see her style. I think that she's sort of, when a lot of people compare her to Vivianne Miedema, and I think Vivianne Miedema's sort of, she hit her peak very young, and possibly still there, but she hit her peak very young. I think Stina is hitting her peak about now, so has a long way to grow. A bit like Beth Mead has as a player. I mean, she's really suddenly transformed. And I can't wait to see her playing style. We do know that Jonas said he likes that real pressing, attacking football. I'm sure that because she was supposed to sign with Man United, I absolutely love the fact that was all over the papers.
Yeah.
And, suddenly it's like, no, signed and sealed with us. You love to see it. But so I'm sure that had something to do, Jonas had something to do with that.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he did. And I mean, my only slight issue with it, and it's not an issue anything to do with Stina, because I think she's a great signing. I've got a feeling that maybe the club know that Viv may not be sticking around, and she's brought in as a sort of long-term replacement. That's my fear about it. I don't know how they're going to both fit in the team anyway. That's another issue that obviously Jonas has got to think about. But I mean, I suppose you could play them both together, but we very rarely have two strikers. It's more one striker and two wider players, and I'm not sure how that would work. And I feel with her age as well that maybe that's the plan behind this side. In it, Viv is going to leave, unfortunately, but now at least it cushions the blow a little bit because we've got another world-class striker who's at the club as well. So, obviously we all want Viv to stay, but at least if she does leave now, we have got a player who can come in and hopefully replace the goals that Viv's and the other stuff that Viv's brought to the team. So that's my only concern with it. But let's hope that doesn't happen, because it'd be great to see them play together for longer than just the rest of this season, wouldn't it? Especially if they can develop a really good understanding. It'd be, two of the best strikers in European women's football at our club. It's just fantastic, isn't it? The prospect of that is just brilliant. So lots to look forward to. Russ is in the chat there. He says, "Evening, chaps." He says, "Hope you're doing well." Yeah, we're doing great. A bit better with the news that we've heard this evening, so that's cheered us up after a difficult week that we'd had. But yeah, there's also as well. Now I don't know too much about this other signing. There's a defender, Rafael Souza, the Brazilian. I don't know if you guys have known too much about her. We're rumoured to be buying her, 30-year-old defender from Brazil. Obviously looks like maybe a short-term signing to come in for the injuries that we've got. I mean, Andreas, do you know too much about her? I'm not sure. I've not really heard about her until sort of the last couple of days when it's been spoken about in the media and stuff.
Exactly. I have to confess that I haven't heard about her before. And when the rumors appeared, of course, I tried to Google her and read about her. So what I read is that she is a central defender and also defensive midfielder, and she has a pace, what we are lacking in central defense. If this is true, then she could help us, but I don't know anything about her. I haven't seen her playing, so I can't say anything. So let's hope our scouts have seen something in her that will help us.
Exactly, and that's. I mean, I think that the defender was perhaps the key area that we needed to recruit in during this transfer window. And while Stina's a great signing anyway, it's hopefully if we can get a defender in as well, then I think that's really going to be set us up nicely for the rest of the season. And we'll have to see how this Brazilian is. I'm sure she's a good player. We wouldn't be interested in otherwise. Collins in the chat there says, I'd love to see both of them play together 4-4-2. Obviously, Viv and Stina, that would be great. Maybe we might see some of that the rest of this season. Who knows? Let's get them two together against Chelsea when we play them. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? They can run riot against Chelsea's rather slow defence as well, it has to be said. So let's see what happens. I mean, Matt, do you know too much about this Souza, Rafael Souza, the Brazilian?
No, but this is one of the beautiful things about women's football is they could turn around and say that we're signing this player, and then we all go, who? We all look her up. There's somewhere around the corner, there's a YouTube clip and compilation coming up along. And someone's put the signs out already to say, welcome to Arsenal. But all I knew was that she was a centre-back. She was 5'6", and that obviously she plays in Brazil. I didn't know about the pace, as Andreas has said, so it's interesting to know that we're getting little bits of different information. If I'm honest, if I had to pick someone, I'd want someone that can play centre back and right back, because we need that cover at the moment because Steph's not there. But I think there will be a few more signings, maybe one or two, maybe one on loan. But this will be an interesting one to watch because, again, it's going to be the COVID restrictions in place. Maybe it's already done. Maybe it's not. You don't know about this one.
No, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, that is an issue. Obviously, anybody that you do sign now, they may not be able to play straight away because of the COVID rules and stuff like that, especially if they're coming from another country. I mean, Harry, obviously, we've not spoken since the transfer window opened. I mean, are you expecting too much more business? And if you were, any sort of players you've got your eye on that maybe we should be looking at to sign this January?
So I think that 2 players is a lot of signings in the winter transfer window. I don't think we've done that. I don't know. I can't remember when we've done that before. Usually it's one signing, and it's usually like a big signing. So I think having two players is quite a lot. My gut feel, if I was to place a bet, I don't think Viv will leave in the summer. I don't think Stina is a replacement for Viv. I think she's a backup for Viv. If anything, I mean, maybe I'm just thinking of it with rose-tinted glasses. Remains to be seen. But I think that if we don't, without a backup striker, Viv said she wants a winning team. She wants to be in Champions League. She wants to be winning cups.
Yeah.
So if we're winning the league and we're competing in Champions League, we're given her those opportunities. I mean, so if at the end of the contract it's like, well, we've got another backup striker, then we're not building a team around one player. I mean, I love Viv. I think I've met her in person. She's a brilliant character. She's a brilliant footballer, but you don't build a team around one player. You build a team around a style. So I think they'll end up complementing each other. The new signing or new potential, has it been announced, Rafaela Souza?
Hasn't been announced yet. No, there's just a lot of speculation. There's a lot of speculation.
So I've heard that she is coming. Like everyone else has. I know absolutely nothing about her, so I tapped into some of my very good friends who know everything, who know way more than I do, and I'm told that she is a absolutely brilliant CDM centre back. Sorry, I heard she's an absolutely brilliant centre back. I don't know what her stats are, but I've heard that they're extremely good and extremely strong, and that the only thing is that she's in her 30s, or she's 30 now. So perhaps she's going to bring a lot of experience in. I don't know what the longevity of footballers are anymore, because people go on for a lot longer. So maybe there's a good 5 years left. I don't know, but we need a backup for Leah, because without Leah we are crumbling. Sorry to say, we're just we know that, but so yeah, I'm very excited about it. Very excited.
No, I am, and I mean, I think that a defender was the main position that we did need to strengthen. We've seen in recent games how weak that area has been without Leah in the team. It's good news that she was back in training actually this week, so we saw. So that's good to see. But yeah, we definitely need at least one extra body in defence, and let's hope that if it is Rafaela Souza, let's hope that she's as good as you all your friends have said she is, and she can come in and do a great job for us, because that would be fantastic. Even if it's a short term, even if it's just a year contract or a year and a half, the rest of this season and next season maybe, who knows? But it certainly would be a positive step, because it is a position that I'll say that we desperately need somebody in very quickly. So let's see what happens with that. But yeah, it seems like she seems the most likely signing, doesn't she? With the news that we're hearing, that seems to be the one that's probably going to get done, as indeed it did with Stina as well. I mean, that was all good news actually, and that was exciting, and it's cheered me up today, all that stuff. But unfortunately, we will have to go back to last Sunday, a very, very disappointing performance from Arsenal, and exactly as behind over the eyes, exactly that's what it was. But we are going to have to talk about it, unfortunately. So our first defeat of the season in the WSL, and it was a shock defeat. I mean, last Friday we spoke about it. We were all confident of getting a victory. Some people in the chat were more confident than we were, but even so, we were all expected us to win. And I don't think any of us could have anticipated the lackluster performance that we put in from start to finish, really. I mean, it just wasn't a sort of Arsenal women's performance that we've come to expect at all. It was lacking energy. It was lacking ideas. And I don't know, everybody seemed all over the place. And whether the break had a part to play in that, I'm not sure. Whether there was other issues going on, it just was a complete mess from start to finish. And actually, that's our 4th defeat in our last 5 games going back into December since the cup final. And we're in a bit of a tricky situation on the pitch. Let's hope that the signings that we might make are going to help there. But certainly at the moment, we're in a very, very tricky situation. And that performance against Birmingham, it shocked me. And I mean, it took me probably 3 days to actually get my head around how poor it was, because it was out of the blue, really. I know we've lost a few games recently to some good teams, Barcelona, Chelsea, etc. But this was just, I don't know where that came from. I mean, Andreas, what did you make of it? What do you think went wrong? And why do you think the performance was so poor?
I don't know. We were lacking everything. You can lose a match. That's no question. You can lose against Chelsea or Barcelona or Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim is a really good team, but you can't lose against Birmingham. They haven't won a single match in this season. They are the weakest team in the league, and it's not that we were unlucky or that it was. That you could say it could have been a draw or we could have won. No, we couldn't have won this match. We were the weaker team. Birmingham deserved to win, and this is the shocking in this match that we were in no situation we were up to score or to win this match, to change. The first goal after I think 3 or 4 minutes was a typical goal against us. A long ball and a lot of pace from the Birmingham striker, and of course she made a good job to score. But after that, we had about 85 minutes to react and to change everything. We were 1-0 behind against Spurs in FA Cup, I think in September or so, and we showed a reaction and won 5-1. But there was no reaction from the team in Birmingham. I couldn't understand, couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I think except Kim, maybe Beth, they tried, but all the others, I don't know what was going on.
I mean, it was almost like every single player had a bad game all at the same time. And that's unusual, isn't it? You might have 1 or 2 players off form and the other players step up and you get through the game. But on Sunday, it seemed as though pretty much everybody in that team, I mean, I thought Zinsberger did okay in goal. Other than that, she didn't have a lot to do, but she did fairly well. She couldn't really save the goals. But I just felt as though it was everybody was poor all at the same time. And that is so unusual to see in any team. To a performance like that. And as you say, I mean, Birmingham are the weakest team in the league, the bottom of the league. They hadn't won at home for over 2 years in any, in the WSL. But you're right, they deserve to win that game. From early on when they got, the early goal helped them settle down. It gave them something to go for, I suppose. But they definitely deserve to win that game. I mean, Matt, you're actually there in the stadium. I know you did a great vlog for us as well. Was it even worse being in the stadium to what it was watching it on the screen as we did? I mean, it was just a terrible performance, wasn't it? What do you think went wrong? I mean, from being there at the stadium, what did you notice?
Well, I think the first thing was that they were both of them unexpected. That first goal, it was just, I think they just sort of, it was a long ball, and I thought Simone was going to go and put a tackle in or something like that, try and shove her off the ball, and she just didn't make it enough. So first things first was, okay, she hasn't played a lot of the game time. She's had 10, 15 minutes here and there. She hasn't had a full 90 under her belt. I think even going back, the fact that we didn't have a full squad bench was an issue in itself. I could. It was just 2 unexpected goals, and they got the win, and we just couldn't get into the game. I'm going to have to say, well played to Louise Quinn, who was personally my player of the match. I remember we had a corner. She went to defend it, and she sprinted. They had a corner. She sprinted up the other end, and she got there before I think even Viv had gotten to the halfway line. That's how quick she was. So if anyone's looking for a centre back, someone ask Louise Quinn to come back if Sousa doesn't work out.
Definitely.
I didn't expect Birmingham to be quite tall, but they used their height to a huge advantage over us. They were winning the first balls, the second balls, the third balls. Every time we got a corner, we didn't know what we were going to do with it. there was some poor refereeing. I'm not going to say anything about it because we always say about this about the referees. The referees need development no matter what. It just is one of those things. One issue I am going to bring up is towards the end of the game. I'm just going to say this now, that Viv and Manu both walked off without applauding the fans. It's kind of a bit disrespectful, but when you're a professional and you realised you just come away with nothing after that, I understand that space, but just a light little applaud or something as you're marching off, just to say something. Casey McCabe, she tries to bring them back on to say, come applaud the fans, but they weren't having any of it. They just walked straight off. Beth Mead again and Lotta were taking photos and signing stuff for the fans, which I thought was really important. Some of the girls were there from Hendon girls teams and things like that. So I thought that was a hell of a trip for them to go to, and for them to sign something was really important. One thing that I will bring up, and this will be the last thing, is there was one fan that thought it was on himself to go and abuse the Birmingham City players, the Arsenal players, and the referee. And I'm just to let people know, there was one steward in that stand, and there was no way that steward would have been able to hold back himself as all the fans were going towards the pitch to ask for players for this, that, and the other. So I just not to name names, or I don't know them anyway, but don't do it, because at the end of the game, it's not a men's game. It's not, you can turn around to you're in the highest tier of the Emirates and you can get away with it. You're literally on the touchline. It's not nice. And to the fact that as a man myself and trying to enjoy a game that you've lost in the end, it's not right that it could be taken away quite instantly. They could turn around and say, right, okay, no more signing stuff like that. And that's a huge, huge loss to the women's game, because we crave that interactive independency compared to the men's. It's so closed off. I just don't want to miss it. So just an incident like that, I'm hoping that they've sorted it out, and that from now on we won't have any more incidences like this. I don't know. I take it wasn't covered on Sky at all, but if whoever was presenting that day, I hope that she saw it and just said something to them off camera or something, because it needs to be addressed. I just felt that after that game, I just didn't want to come back home and be disappointed, and then Arsenal lose to Nottingham Forest in the last minute. Arsenal, you do know how to make our day, don't you?
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest. It wasn't the greatest Sunday, was it, to be an Arsenal fan? Unfortunately, everything seemed to go wrong, and yeah, it was very, very frustrating, very disappointing. We've got the True Sets Free in the chat. He's a Tottenham fan. He's been in the show quite a lot. He says, "Big up, Richard and everyone. Don't be afraid of Sunday. Spurs are weak anyways." Well, we don't know if we're afraid. He says, "No need to duck us." Well, I don't know if we're trying to duck you necessarily, but yeah, that game looks like it may well be off on Sunday, unfortunately. And Andy's in the chat as well. He said, evening. Yeah, evening, Andy. Thanks for tuning in. No, I mean, I think, Matt, that's probably an isolated incident, actually. You know, it doesn't tend to be something that you see at women's games at all. And, you know, it does seem like an isolated incident. And it's not great. And it's not what you want to see. But hopefully it is an isolated thing and it's not going to become a regular occurrence. I just think that the more the women's game gets, more publicity it gets, the more people get interested in it. Unfortunately, it's going to attract a few idiots as well, isn't it? That's just the nature of the way life is, unfortunately, and that could be the case. But let's hope that it doesn't spoil things too much, because I totally agree. One of the beauties of the women's game is that you can interact with the players, and that is so important to what the women's game is, you know. And it was great you said, you know, you had some girls teams that travelled up for the game, and they got to meet their heroes as well, and that sort of thing's great. And if that wasn't allowed to happen in the future, that would be a real shame, just for a few idiots that can't control themselves for 90 minutes in a game. And it isn't a man's game, and it's a totally different atmosphere, and that needs to be respected. And people that maybe haven't been to women's games, have only been to men's games, maybe need to understand that and need to appreciate uniqueness of what they're experiencing and embrace it really. But yeah, that's kind of an extra kind of sour note really for the game, wasn't it? Because it was a terrible game, a terrible performance, and then obviously you have to experience that as well at the end, which isn't very nice either, is it? So I say let's hope it is an isolated thing. I've not noticed too many issues like that previously in a women's game actually, so let's hope it isn't going to be a new thing now with, I say, the extra coverage that the women's game's getting. But I mean, what you mentioned there in terms of the players kind of, you know, Viv and Manu walking off, I mean, you could see when you watched it on the telly that how frustrated they were, particularly Viv. She was really frustrated. You could tell she was even having go at the referee. She was, you know, she didn't get a free kick at one point and she was on at the referee for 5 minutes afterwards, still going on about it. And there was a lot of frustration with her. So I could almost understand that she probably didn't want to hang around. She wasn't in the right mood for it. She wanted to get off the pitch. And yes, it's not right really. You should at least acknowledge the fans that have made the effort to support you. But maybe in those circumstances, it doesn't surprise me with Viv, because of how frustrated she looked all the way through that game. You know, nothing went for her. It wasn't her day at all. And maybe she just wanted to, right, let's get off the pitch. Let's just get changed, get home and forget this one and move on maybe. But yeah, a little appreciation of support wouldn't have hurt, would it? And they should all do that, really, I think. But that's a shame as well. But yeah, I mean, Harry, what did you make of that performance? I mean, it was unexpectedly bad, wasn't it? That was the point. I know we've had some poor results recently, either side of Christmas, but that was just, I don't know. I don't even know what to make of it. It was just unbelievable, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know, the thing is that when you actually read the stats, I mean, our possession was something like 68%. We had 475 passes versus their 220. I'm just reading that. It's just like we played 11 different games. It's like 11 different players played 11 different games. You know, all the players who typically have stunning games, really good games, all had really rubbish games. Individually. So it sounded like the ball was being passed around everywhere, but didn't go anywhere. It's one of those things. It's, you know what, I think Matt raises some really good points there, and I think that does need to be addressed. And the thing is that the women's game has exploded in the last year. With the coverage that they've had, it's impressive. And there's a very fine line between the supporters who, you know, the sort of the niche group of supporters that's typically always supported women's football, and sort of new supporters, especially guys coming into the game and really appreciating the game for what it is, and the strength of the women's game, and actually what wonderful football it really is. In many cases, much better quality football than you see in a men's team. So that's one side of it. But I think there was a game, I want to say against Leicester, where there was a group of fans at Meadow Park who were really abusive, and I think one of the players of one of the Leicester City players actually said something. If I'm not mistaken, it was a Leicester City game. I might be wrong on that. It wasn't a game that I was at, but I would say, since we're live and people can see us, this needs to be called out there and then. We need to be calling out people who are abusive to players. Simple as that. The truth is, there's no difference between the men's and the women's game, other than the reality is the men's game is much more closed off. They're physically further away. They probably get better PR training, you know, to sort of safeguard them against that. That's probably a fact. It's not the right thing, but it's probably the way it is. And our girls are they're there. They're present. They interact with us, like Matt said, and we're just ruining it. Well, a small minority will ruin it for the rest of us. And you can't allow that to happen. I mean, the one thing I'll say is that the women's game, the growth has been phenomenal, but we must never ever lose sight of the hard work that they've had to put in to get to the place that they're at. The sexism involved, the racism in the game, the homophobia in the game. There's so many isms that you can add to that. The last ism we want is abuse of our own players. So if we see it, if anybody sees, I think it needs to be pointed out, called out there and then. You know, not tolerated.
Yeah, oh, 100%, 100% right.
In the
Absolutely.
future,
I mean,
if
I have
do
seen
go
it a
to
little
that
bit in
game,
the Barcelona game at the Emirates. There was a little bit of, got a bit too leery maybe. It's a family place, you're there with your kids and stuff, so you got to be a bit careful.
Yeah. Well, I think what's happening, and you're right in a way, because suddenly the women's game is being opened up to a wider audience, and you're getting maybe people that have watched the men's game and now coming over to watch the women's game, and they maybe need time to adapt to the different atmosphere and the different expectations on the fans as well. And maybe that's going to take a little time. I believe that those people that you've mentioned, that Matt mentioned, I think they've maybe come from a different place in terms of coming from the men's game into the women's game and acting the same, as though that's the way they're used to acting at football. It's not right, but in the men's game, it gets sort of, because there's bigger crowds and, like you said, you're further away from everything, it gets kind of distorted quite a lot. But in the women's game, everything is so much more. Everybody can hear it, can't they? The players can hear it, the other supporters can hear it. Everybody
everything.
can hear it.
They hear you can sometimes say something quite funny as a jibe or a ribbing the ref or something like this, which I am absolutely guilty of.
Yeah.
And you'll even get a look from the players where they smirk at you. It's, I mean, I've seen Katie McCabe do throw it, and it's funny. What you can't do is make anybody feel bad, because they're professionals, but they're human.
Exactly. And I think everyone needs to appreciate that, and I'm sure it will. I'm sure it's going to be like that. I just say I think maybe there's going to be a little transitional period as a new audience comes into the women's game that's maybe from the men's game initially, and hopefully it can be respected and it will settle down and it will be okay. But I don't want to see the women's game lose that kind of element to it, which has made it so great, really, as well. So I think that's important that and you're right, Harry, we as fans need to, we can stop it happening, can't we, around us? And that's what we need to do.
Just call it out. It's education. That's all it is education.
Yeah, 100%.
Sometimes somebody gets a bit too much. Call it out. Don't have to make them feel terrible, but you have to point it out.
Exactly.
We're in a different environment now, aren't we? Back in the day, somebody would say something, whether it's in the workplace or amongst friends, and they say something that's a bit inappropriate, and everyone kind of goes, "Well, that's a bit inappropriate," but never says anything. And now we're in a society where actually we should be saying, "No, hang on, that's not okay. Don't do that." But let's move on, grow.
Exactly. Exactly. And hopefully that's how we can deal with it. And then it will, the problem will disappear into the background, which is where we want it to stay, really. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, society has got people like that in it, and you're never going to get rid of it from society. So you're not going to get rid of it from football, I suppose. But we can do what we can as fans,
Sorry, Richard, Raj has just made a really good point. And just to bring it up, the fact that I'm new to this as well. This is the first season that I'm going to games. The first game that I went to was the Villa one. So to step back and see how the fans was important. If that's your first game you're going into and you're abusing people, you shouldn't be doing that.
No, absolutely not. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, Rajan says he's got a good point. He says there's a new culture now. Fans need to respect all that go and see the game. Exactly, and that's a good point. That's exactly what it is. It is a new culture now in society and in football, and we need to make sure that the women's game appreciates that. He did actually say earlier as well. He said Stina joins. Yeah, we I don't know if he was a bit late coming in. We did speak about that, which is obviously a great signing. And Andy as well, again mentioning Stina, says one of my favourite players, and she definitely offers something different than we have. Yeah, that's true. Very happy, but still hope for a CM and maybe a CDM as we chatted about in November. Yeah, it's looking like, I say, the Brazilian Sousa may well be coming in as well, so that would be good. He says they're centre back. I guess we'll talk about that later. Yeah, I mean, we did kind of mention briefly there the Brazilian Rafael Sousa. Looks like she may be coming in as centre back, who can play CDM as well, so that could be good news as well in the transfer window. But unfortunately, we can't replay the Birmingham game with the new players in. We have to accept that we were poor that day. We lost the game, and our chance of going invincible through the season again isn't going to happen this year. So, and it was another opportunity, wasn't it, to get a big lead on Chelsea, and everyone would have expected it. Chelsea would have expected it, I'm sure. And the fact that we lost that game was so disappointing. And you're right what you said before, Andreas. Was it that, we wasn't unlucky to lose that game? It wasn't because we had loads of chances, the ball just didn't go in and Birmingham caught us out on a counter attack. Birmingham had a game plan, they stuck to it, they worked their socks off, and nothing just came off for us at all. And Birmingham definitely deserved to win that game, and they certainly didn't look the worst team in the league to me last Sunday. I mean, maybe we helped because we didn't play that well, but they certainly looked a decent team, I thought. They worked hard, they were organised, and they did offer a goal threat. I mean, I agree. I thought Louise Quinn was fantastic actually at the back, but the girl who scored the second goal, I can't remember her name now. She had a great game as well, sort of in the attacking area as well. She had a great game for them. They had 2 or 3 good performances actually. Yeah, that's Sari. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, she was brilliant as well, I thought. So yeah, they deserve to win that game. And I suppose the best thing we can do now is to put it behind us. Hopefully it's just a one-off. I know some of our recent performances before that wasn't great, but let's put that put that to one side and say, right, okay, that's done now. We need to move forward because we've got bigger and better, harder challenges to come, and we need to focus on those really. Vajandra says there, 2007 was a world beater year for the women. They won everything in their way. Yeah, that was 2006, 2007, wasn't it? Yeah, we did win everything. We still could this year. I mean, every trophy for this season we can still win. The FA Cup we lost was last season's one, so we can still win everything this season, and we're still in a good position. We're still top of the league. Let's not forget. I know I think we all felt really down in the dumps on Sunday, but we have to keep reminding ourselves we are still top of the league, and even if Chelsea win their game in hand, we'll still be top of the league. So we need to kind of focus on the positives that there are. There wasn't many last Sunday, has to be said, but
and being the women's show, the men at least took the heat off us.
Yeah, by being even worse against. Yeah, they were actually, but it didn't really help to cheer us up a bit, did it? I was hoping after the disappointment of the women's game, there's about an hour break, and I was hoping that we would come back and see the men, and it would at least give us something to feel good about on a Sunday. But of course, it didn't. It was completely opposite of that, and that made it even worse. But anyway, we'll I say we just need to put that behind us now and move forward. But again, it's not all been doom and gloom this week. There was some other good news actually earlier this week, which has really cheered me up as well, and I'm sure you guys will feel exactly the same. Of course, Leah Williams signing a new contract. Great news, and even better news, she's actually back in training as well. And I did hear that Jonas was saying she's maybe in contention for the squad on Sunday, which would be great. Don't want to rush her back too quickly, but that's great news, isn't it? I mean, just sort of signing a new contract is great as well, because we've seen how important she is. We've seen more how important she is when she's not played than when she's been playing, actually. And it just goes to show that that's how how great a player is when you miss them more when they're not there. I mean, Andreas, that's great news, isn't it? Her signing a contract, and also the fact that she seems to be fit again.
Two good news from her. At the very first moment, I couldn't believe that it was her signing the new contract. I was so surprised. I thought it was an old video from her signing the contract last year. I haven't expected it right now because last year she took a lot more time to think about it until she decided to stay. And that she made the decision for herself right now. This is really good sign for us. I'm sure she had some talks with the board and with Jonas, and there must have been signs from the club that they will strengthen the squad and they will be able to compete for every title, because that's what Leah also wants. She wants to be competitive. She wants to win titles, and she wants to develop herself to one of the best defenders in the world. That's what she said last year, and she said she sees the possibility to do that at the Arsenal, and probably she sees this chance for her once again. So I was really surprised that she made the decision so early, and it's a good sign because it shows where the club wants to go. And it's a good sign for every other player who will be out of contract in summer. Because Leah, every top club in Europe would have liked to sign her. And the beginning of the week or end of last week, I heard the rumors that Barcelona is going to sign her. Then there was this crazy rumor that Real Madrid is paying €500,000 for her to get her right now, because she would have been a free agent in summer, but they want her right now. And one day later she signs at the Arsenal. Oh, fantastic. And in the evening, we saw that she's back in training. So perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it's come at a good time because we needed some good news anyway because of the last few games anyway. Plus, the fact that I agree, it makes a good sign for the club if a player like Leah Williamson, who, like you said, could have gone anywhere in Europe to play, any top club would sign her because of how good she is. The fact that she's committed her future to Arsenal, hopefully that will give a message to some of the other players, as you said, Viv in particular that we've mentioned already, to maybe see that there is. The club are looking long term. They're trying to build something good for the future. And if Leah wants to be a part of that, I know she's Arsenal through and through, but she wants to be a part of that. The signing that we made today kind of shows the direction that the club are moving in anyway. With the other signings that we made last summer as well. So yeah, I mean it couldn't have come at a better time. I must admit, I was feeling down in the dumps, and suddenly I saw that, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe life isn't quite so bad anymore. And it gave us something to smile about, and of course today even more. So, I mean, Matt, you must have been delighted to see that the contract. Do we know? I mean, Harry's put a question in actually in our little chat. Do we know how long the contract is? Because there doesn't seem to be a lot of clarity about it. Do you know any more about that, Matt?
No, unfortunately not. And I think this is the issue with women's, just in general, is that you don't know how long the contract is. No. I've heard in groups that. Not Leah, but there are other players out of contract in the summer. You've got Beth, and not just Viv as well. So I'm hoping that this is where Vinay brings his value to Arsenal. He's got to make sure that he's promised this wage budget. He's promised to increase the women's game more, and to do that is to make sure that we're competitive as much as possible. So he needs to be signing these players onto long-term agreements. I don't even know what the longest contract you can give women in their game. Whereas in the men's, the top is about 5 or 6 years. Leah is a huge, huge player. I think we could talk all day about how good she is. Future captain. Harry's made a good point as well, is the fact that you build a team around a few players, not just one. A couple of them are coming into their sort of twilight years now. So you need to give them these contracts, keep them at the club and keep it going. We've got some good youngsters in the squad as well. If we can get them on a contract. We lost Ruby because we couldn't offer her things that she wanted, and now she's only just about getting the game time that she wants. So this is the turning point, I think, is to be getting these done as soon as possible and not be leaving it to lastminute.com in the summer. I'm hoping that this is just a stepping stone, because Leah is huge. You know how much we missed her. And I'm hoping that others will follow suit.
Yeah, I mean, this needs to be the start, doesn't it? As we've said, it's no good just Leah sign a new contract and all the others leave at the end of the season. We don't want that. We want them all to sign up again, because we can see what possibilities there are with this group of players, with 1 or 2 new additions as well, and where this team can go. We've already seen glimpses of it this season, and not so much recently, but I think overall we have. Andy says there's fantastic news. It is there. He said, I read the contract is more than 1 year. Well, yeah, the last one was I think was a year extension, wasn't it? And this one looks like it's longer term. We don't know how long, but it's great news anyway. Terry's in the chat. He says, good evening, Richard, Andreas, Am's dad, and my main man, Matt. How you doing, Terry? Thanks for tuning in. Good to see you. And Rajendra says, we need more good, fast defenders. There were some in teams we have beaten in the WSL. Yeah, we do. We know the defence is the weak part of the team at the moment. But with Leah coming back, maybe with this new signing coming in, maybe things can be a little bit brighter for the rest of the season. Anyway, let's hope so, because that is the one area that we've been struggling in. I mean, Harry, Leah, what can you say about her? She's just a fantastic player. She's a fantastic person, and she's going to be staying with Arsenal for a lot longer now, which is great, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it really, really good news. I mean, Leah is. I never thought she was going to go anywhere, I have to be honest. I mean, I saw all the tweets about she's going to some Italian team and Barcelona and Real Madrid, and edits of her in different shirts, and I never thought so, because she is such an Arsenal through and through player.
Yeah.
Although I mean, it's all rumor. I don't know her. I've met her once at one of the games, and she's a real professional. Always got time for the fans. So as a person and a personality, she's phenomenal. As a player, she, in my opinion, the best centre back in the world. But I heard rumours last year that she had that extension because she did want to see what the club was going to bring. Because I felt, rumour had it, she felt that the club was in a little bit of a rut, not quite getting to where it needs to be, and wanted to keep her options open. So I think Jonas is doing something right in that sense, if he's brought that faith into her, albeit with the games we've lost. But she's the lifeline of that team. She really is. I mean, the defence is lost without her. Those long balls that she creates, those opportunities she creates, nobody else can do that. I mean, when you watch the games, and I don't want to point any fingers. I don't like to be unkind to any player, but there's no other player that can deliver those long balls in that exactly same way and be sharp of mind to defend when you need to defend. This is phenomenal news. I have heard it's a long contract, but it's just conjecture. I've got no idea.
No, I mean, I think it'd be longer than the last one that she signed. It's obviously, I think this is a longer term one. How long it is, we don't know. I mean, Regenda seems to think that the maximum contract length will be the same as the men's, as this illegal definition. Otherwise, they can leave as a normal employee. Yeah, I mean, I know that the contracts that they've got are the same. They work in the same way, but I don't know if there's shorter contracts with the women's game. There seems to be, doesn't there? Players seem to move around quite a lot generally in the women's game, maybe more so than in the men's game, perhaps, and maybe that's a contract issue. But anyway, I mean, whatever the length of the contract is, it's good news that she signed it and that she's staying with us, and we can forget about any sort of rumours of her leaving in the near future, which is great. And I agree. I think she is the best centre back probably in the world, and also as well the fact that when she came into the England team in this season, she was playing in midfield and she was brilliant there as well. She's just an all-round great football player. I think she could play in lots of different positions and be brilliant. But she's so important for our team, the way that we play. And as you said, bringing the ball out from the back, those long passes that create so many opportunities for us to score goals as well. We've missed that as well as her defensive play. So, yeah, she is a massively important player for the club. And it's great news that that she signed his contract and she's going to be with us for a long time. Terry says if Leah left, it could only be for Barca. They're the only ones apart from us that deserve her ability. No, Barca don't deserve her. No, they don't.
No, they don't deserve her.
Definitely not. They definitely don't deserve her at all. Nobody, only we deserve her because that's the way it is. But yeah, I mean, I suppose in their standing in the women's game at the moment, I guess. But yeah, I mean, if she wanted to progress her career, there's not many clubs that she could go to other than Arsenal, is there, above Arsenal? And Barcelona would come into that category, I guess, at the moment, I suppose. But she's not going there because we're better than them overall. So there you go. But yeah, so it has been a bit of a mixed week for news. Some bad news, obviously, on the pitch, and a few issues sort of slightly off the pitch related to the game, and also some good news as well with a brand new signing and a new contract for one of our most important players who also is getting. I saw Tobin Heath back in training as well. So maybe, we've been, we were short of numbers. As Matt said, we only had, 4 or 5 players on the bench on Sunday against Birmingham.
Yeah, unfortunately, this one was injured. She twisted her ankle, but she was fine after the game. So she wasn't actually being able to use as a sub. So that was another bloke. We didn't have many subs to start with. Yeah, Leah Walter. I mean, I say we didn't have many subs to start with, and she ended up having to be a sub and couldn't really be used. I felt maybe that Frida Marnham came in, didn't she, at the last minute, and she didn't look ready to play to me. She was all over the place in that game. I thought that's the worst I've ever seen her play. And I feel I kind of let her off because I'm thinking she would have only known she was playing 2 minutes before the game started, really. She wasn't prepared to start the game. I don't think she was fit, maybe 100%, but she had to play and get through it. And she did the best that she could, but it wasn't a great game from her either. But anyway, we need to move away from Burnham because it's done me head in all week. And
pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah, pretend it didn't happen. Exactly. Yeah. Unfortunately, the record books will show 1 defeat, which is unfortunate because it's annoying that we still haven't got a 0 in that box.
I don't remember being what happened on Sunday. As far as I'm concerned, I was lying in my bed just dreaming of 3 points.
Yeah, that's what we need to. But anyway, we have hopefully, if all the COVID situation is fine, we have got we return to action on Sunday. Well, the women are. I know the men might not be playing, but the women should be, with another game that, again, like most of them, potentially on paper, it's a game that you should expect us to win. But we've learned our lesson now after last week, so I think we're going to be slightly more cautious about this one. Obviously, Reading did beat Chelsea not that long ago, so they have got it in them to beat the big teams. We are at home, which advantage, of course. Our record at Meadow Park in particular is fantastic. We haven't conceded a goal in the WSL at Meadow Park all season. Obviously, things are all in our favour. We did beat them 4-0 away earlier in the season. We won this game 6-1 last season as well. So everything's in our favour. But then last week against Birmingham, we was in exactly the same position. Everything was in our favour and we had to win that game. We should have won that game. The other news, of course, Chelsea's game again has been called off. Their game against Everton for another week. They haven't played for ages, Chelsea, actually. They're getting a long mid-season break, which may or may not help, and we'll see. But what it means is that we have again got the opportunity to get that 7-point lead. Obviously, we'd have played another game again on top of them. They'll have 2 games in hand. But anyway, it's a great opportunity to do that this time. And it's massively important that we don't blow it again. I mean, Andreas, what are you expecting from this game? Because I think Reading, they're a good team. They've got some good players. They're organised. And they're having a good season. They're 6th place in the league, won 5, drawn 1, and lost 4 of their 10 games. They're doing all right, aren't they? They've had some decent results.
Yeah, I think they're playing their best season for years now. And after last Sunday, I would take nothing for granted. Of course, we have the better squad, and normally we should win this match. But what was normal last Sunday? So the problem I see is the lack of self-confidence. From last 5 matches, we lost 4, and you can tell everything, but this is in their mind, in their head, and you must. The only thing to get these defeats, these negative things out of your mind is if you win. You return to winning ways, and therefore it's so important to win this match. And I don't want to imagine if we lose again, Chelsea would celebrate because of course they will have a tough program in February and March with all their games in hand now, but they are not playing Champions League, so it's not such an overload on matches. It's only that they lack their rhythm. But we must use this chance, and of course it's for the self-confidence. It would be terrible to have to blow away another chance for extending the lead in the table. And of course, I don't know. The next matches are Man United, Man City. How should we manage to win these matches if we lose again? So let's all think positive, and I hope there will be a reaction. The disappointing thing on Sunday was that there was no reaction at halftime. So, but I really hope that all what happened during the week with the contract, the new signing of Leah, signing of Stina, that all this might change something in their mind, and they will make reset, and we will see the Arsenal that we have seen in the first half of the season.
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, I sometimes, what tends to have been a concern for me actually is when we go behind in a game this season, apart from the Tottenham game in the FA Cup earlier in the season when we conceded earlier and came back and won 5-1, every other time we've conceded first and gone behind, we haven't won. And you can see the confidence drain out of us as soon as we concede a goal. Last week we conceded early. We just wasn't in the game. The cup final we conceded early. We wasn't in the game. Every single time we seem to go behind. We don't seem to have any, I don't know, we seem to lose confidence or what it is, I'm not sure. And I can see if Reading were to score the first goal on Sunday, although we're at home and our home record is strong and we'll have that to build on, I would be worried how we would react to that to going behind again, because we haven't really reacted particularly well throughout the season so far. It's important, I think, that we start the game well, we do score first, and then I'm sure we'll settle into the game and go on, hopefully, and produce a good performance and get the 3 points. I mean, Matt, what are you expecting from this game? I mean, Reading are not a bad side. We certainly can't take them lightly, can we?
Sorry, I've just noticed Terry said don't go to this game. I don't go to the home games, Terry. So you don't have to worry about that one. So this game is important in so many ways. Jonas needs to find his groove. He spent a lot of he was just in complete. I don't know what to say. I think he seemed lost. I think that's the only way to say it. On Sunday, I'm just hoping that this team can turn around. They've had such a good week already. Lotta's birthday was on Monday. Leah announced back in training on Tuesday. Tobin announced that on the as well. And then you got the contract extension. Now today we got the Arsenal draw against Liverpool in the League Cup. Now we got the Stina signing. So it's all positive. We just need to go with it and make sure that there's a response, because I'm sure whoever's there, I don't know if you're going or if Amar's going, but hopefully the home crowd will carry us on. On Reading, just to put some stats towards them, they've only played 3 away games this season. They've lost 2 of them and won 1 of them, and they've only scored 3 goals and conceded 3. So far, Kelly Chambers, their manager, has said just in general, just like Chelsea, not many expect us to get anything out of the game, but the run that we are on, and I know how hungry the girls are to get points on the board. We know it will be another tough game, but my team will fight in every moment and be right up for it. This is the sort of game, I think this is where you have a feeling this is going to be a nail biter. If we do go behind, I'm hoping that we bring back that sort of Tottenham energy that was mentioned before. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it goes according to plan. They've also again targeted Katie McCabe, who has yet to score this month, and she didn't get to score last month. So I'm hoping that she scores. Otherwise, I'm going to look like a bit of an idiot because I said that she was going to score in the game that was cancelled against Brighton. So technically, if she scores in that game, she did score in December.
Well, yeah, we'll maybe give you that one if she does, because that game was originally scheduled for December. But anyway, it doesn't matter now. Let's just hope that somebody can score, because we didn't score obviously last week. So we need somebody to score, don't we, against Reading? Hopefully more than one as well, and we can settle down and enjoy the game. But no, I agree. I think it's Reading are going to pose a real tough threat to us. I mean, the start of the season we did win 4-0 away. I think it's a different Reading team now. You can see by the results they would have got a massive lift by being able to beat Chelsea. I mean, that was probably, I thought that was a shock result of the season until last week. But we know they're gonna come and they're gonna try and keep it tight. They're gonna try and catch us on the counter attack, maybe a set piece, and we're gonna have to be switched on. I mean, Harry, obviously, like you said, you're going to the game. What you anticipating? What sort of game are you anticipating? Because I think it's going to be really tough.
Okay, so I plan to go to the game. And I plan to come home on Monday. Well, be back on to work on Monday with no voice. So that's the goal there. And the kids will be there singing and chanting away. So hopefully that gives the team a little bit of a boost. Now, getting back to seriousness, there's advantages and disadvantages of Reading beating Chelsea. So one, Reading know how to beat a top tier team. They've done it before. They're going to have that energy, and they're going to know that they can do it. But on the flip side, the fact that they beat Chelsea tells Arsenal how they can beat top tier teams. So we kind of see their game plan before Chelsea did. You know, so that's an advantage, I think, for us. And I think Jonas is a good manager. I think he's going to look at that game and say, well, these are their threats. This is what we need to be aware of. I mean, they took Chelsea a bit by surprise. They scored early, and they just held a back line that you couldn't break. If I remember, their goalkeeper's very good. I think when we played them and we won 4-0, I think even then, I think I might have even tweeted about that their goalkeeper is really good. And it was just we were better. We had just more strikes. So I'm hoping that we show a lot. I think if we I think Beth will score. I would really like to see Viv score. Viv needs to get back on the scoreboard.
Yeah, she
I feel
does.
like she's been a little bit off form.
Yeah.
She hasn't been finishing, but getting close, but not finishing quite. So getting Viv back on form, I think Beth will score. I think Kim Little will score. That's going to be my prediction. Love to see a Katie McCabe goal. The person who I really, really want to see score an absolute screamer is Jordan.
Yeah.
I want to see something from the halfway line, just an absolute screamer like she does, because she's a phenomenal player. I don't think she's used enough, and I think that's the kind of boost that we need. We need those big, massive screamers where Viv's just scoring something outrageous. Beth scoring a screamer. Katie McCabe scores something to save the day. That's going to lift the team. And I'm not saying that for our benefit. Well, I am, because I love to see it. But genuinely, I really think that that's the sort of stuff that will lift our team spirits and make sure that we don't lose again.
No, exactly. I mean,
listening.
I mean, as Andy says, that's at least 3 goals. Well, yeah, it would be at least 3 goals. Yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it? We need if we score 3 goals, I'm fairly certain we'll probably win the game. Let's be honest. Just going back to the earlier point about the contracts, which Andrew says, there's seen an article, Sweden's Hannah Bennison, who this summer joined Everton for a club record fee, a substantial 6-figure sum, and on a 4-year contract. So there you go. So she's had a 4-year contract. So women's players do sign for longer than just a year or two. Andy says he missed the Stina talk. You have to watch it back again afterwards. As the first part of the show, he said, "Have you seen how she is used in pressing? She takes out the centre back who builds the attack like Sauerbrunn in the Olympics, key to Jonas's tactics." No, I think we mentioned that, didn't we? That I think she could well be key to the tactics as well. We'll have to see how that works out. And Terry says, Andrea's spot on, need to get back to winning ways quick. And then he said, please don't go out of this game, Matt. Nothing personal, mate. To be fair, Matt had seen some good wins. He was at Man United and we won. Aston Villa, we won 4-0. So he's seen some games that we've won as well. Let's not just focus on the 1 or 2 that we've lost that he's been to. There's been others as well.
Sorry, he's just mentioned Paris there as well, hasn't he? I don't know what happened, but she wasn't on the bench. So I take it that either there was COVID quarantines.
I would have thought so, yeah. He says he must admit, I've been disappointed in Paris. She's lost her spark. We need her 5 on 10. I mean, I think, funny enough, the last couple of games that she played, I actually thought she played pretty well. She just hasn't been having any luck in front of goal, actually, for one reason or another. Was it the game against Leicester when she was brilliant, wasn't she? I think she had a couple of assists and she was unlucky not to score. And hopefully she can get that sort of form back and get a few more goals. And maybe the signing of Stina might help give everyone a lift, maybe, particularly attacking players, and see where we go. I mean, we need to give a score prediction, I guess, for Reading. And Andreas, what would you say is your score prediction? It's quite a difficult one, this to predict, actually.
As I said after last Sunday, it's difficult to be optimistic, but we need to be optimistic here, and so I say we'll win. And I agree that there will be 3 goals, but not for us. It's 2-1 for us, and it will be a tough match, and we all will be very happy when the final whistle comes and we have won. So. I hope Viv will score. This would be necessary for her self-confidence, and for the team. And of course, the best would be to have a clean sheet. This would be for the self-confidence of the defenders very important. But I don't think that will be the case. We made too many mistakes, and the last matches, Jen was playing in every match. She gave away an easy goal. So maybe we shouldn't start her this time. But my score prediction is 2-1, and I would be very satisfied to take the 3 points.
No, exactly. I mean, I say this every week. I'm happy to win 1-0 every week if it means we win the game. You know, the big wins are nice and they're exciting to watch, but ultimately, what it comes down to is winning the game. You know, last week we got a little bit carried away. I think expecting us to win a little bit more comfortably, and it came back to bite us, didn't it? So I think we are going to be a little bit more cautious this time. I mean, Matt, what are you thinking? Do you agree with Andreas that we might just sneak it, or do you think we might win a bit more comfortably, or you're going to go for your usual defeat?
Well, well, this is the thing, isn't it? Because every time I do say we lose or draw, we end up winning. Whenever I've said we're going to look, or I think it's the FA Cup final, the 2 Barcelona games, and the Tottenham one, which I wasn't a part of, but I said it was going to be a draw. That I've only got right so far. So just to keep traditions going, I'll probably say. We'll draw 1-1, but I would expect. But if Reading do score, I expect Arsenal to turn up. I'm hoping that Jonas is feeling more like himself. He'll be more animated on the touchline. That's it, and he's gone. Yeah, go with loser draw. See,
yeah,
everyone's against me. I'm not allowed to be optimistic.
No, you're not, because it's worked for most of the season, to be fair. So we'll accept you giving a loss or a draw. We'll accept that.
In my heart, it's an Arsenal win, but on here it's a lose or draw. But I would probably go with a draw.
That probably seems a sensible option. Harry, then obviously you're expecting a few goals. What would you say your score prediction will be?
3-0 to the Arsenal. 3-0 to the Arsenal. 3-0 to the Arsenal.
Well, that would be great, wouldn't it? I would definitely settle for that. Terry's a bit more optimistic. He said 6-1. Backlash incoming, please. Well, that would be very enjoyable. Rajendra goes 3-0 as well. So there you go. You've got someone who agrees with you there, Harry, 3-0. But Rajendra says as well. And I mean, I kind of, my kind of heart is saying 3-0. And I can see that we should be capable of winning 3-0. But I've got a little bit of a doubt after the last week's performance and the last few games. I just feel at home, we're very good. Our home record is very good at Meadow Park. Reading's away record, as Matt pointed out, is quite poor. They don't score many goals away from home. We don't concede many at home. The clean sheet seems, I think we'll get a clean sheet. I might go 2-0. I think it's going to be a difficult game, but I do think we'll have too much to win. And hopefully get a win here, get the 7 points clear at the top, and that can give us a load of confidence to take into the future games, and we can push on and build on that. Settlement FC says, big up Rich and Gents. He's gone with 3-1. That's fair enough. And Vijandra says it's at Meadow Park, so 6-0. Well, I don't know about 6-0.
We're showing up angry. We're showing up angry with something to prove.
Let's hope so.
We saw what Viv was like. Katie McCabe, she wanted everyone to, she took the time to clap the fans and all that. Now look, we're showing up angry, something to prove. We're going to get back to our winning ways. 3-0.
No, you sound very, very positive and confident about that. So I'm not going to doubt something. I'm not going to doubt that at all. So I mean, 3-0 would be great, and we have won quite a few games 3-0 actually this season at home. So another 3-0 would be very, very much appreciated. Now, before next week's show, we've got another game in midweek as well, actually, which has slipped my mind a little bit of everything that's gone on today. But we do play Manchester United in the Continental Cup quarter-final. Again at Meadow Park on Wednesday. So this is potentially going to be a good opportunity for us. Competition, keep our run going at home to Manchester United. It's not going to be an easy game, but home to Manchester United again, I would be fairly confident. I think maybe the Reading performance, the Reading result may have a factor in how well we're feeling going into that game, possibly. But if we beat Reading and play pretty well, I'd be really confident going into this. What did you expect in Andres? Do you think there may be, I know we don't have a lot of options at the minute in terms of, we only had a small bench last week, in terms of changing the lineup. Do you think there'll be a few changes for the Man United game, or do you think it will just be pretty much what we've been seeing most weeks in the WSL?
A lot will depend on the match on Sunday. The way the girls perform, and of course the result, the reaction after the defeat. It will depend on the Reading game, and if they perform good and we don't have injuries, so maybe there will only be a few changes. But as I said, I don't want to imagine what happens if we don't win. this would have terrible effect for the match against United. So let's say we're going to beat Reading, and then the chances to beat United are there. It's a home game, and we won I think 2-0 away at United. So why shouldn't we beat them again? We are the better team, and I say, of course, we will win 2-0 against United, and then we are back on track before
Exactly.
the City match.
Exactly. I mean, I think we need to get 2 wins this week, don't we, to revive the confidence as well. Terry says there, he says 3-0, Harry. Have you included the second half in your result, or is that just half-time score? Well, if it's 3-0 at half-time, we'd be quite happy, wouldn't we? Anyway, but even if it finishes 3-0, but yeah, maybe, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'll take a 1-0, to be honest. I mean, Matt, what are you thinking about Man United? Do you think we can progress to the semi-final of a competition that we've done pretty well in over the years, haven't we? Let's be honest, in terms of getting to the final, certainly. Maybe not always winning it, but we've certainly got a decent record. What do you think we'll do against Man United?
It's a tough game to say. Most of their players are coming back this weekend. It's only Lucy Staniforth that's out injured at the moment. So I'm gonna say I think it goes to extra time and penalties. So I'm just gonna say extra time and penalties and nothing else, because it won't happen. It'll probably end up being 90 minutes and a rout will probably ensue because Harry's motivational speech was there.
Yeah, well, maybe one of these we need to play this in the change room before the game, and that'll G him all up. Play Harry's little speech there. Yeah, it'd be good to get to another semi-final, and hopefully a bit further as well. I mean, Harry, are you going on Wednesday night as well?
No, unlikely. In fact, I'm definitely not going on Wednesday night. I do love those midweek games though. They're quite special because they're not very busy, and you just they're lovely. I think we'll be, if we win against Reading the way I think we will, I think it's going to give us the confidence that we need for Man United. I'm not sure if Shaki Runa is back playing. She was injured.
I've got her down as she's come back.
She's come back. I mean, she is one of my favourite players. I would love her to be in our team. If she's watching, just so you know. But I think we'll win as long as we win against Reading, I think we'll win against Man United. We definitely can beat them. They've got a good team. But especially if there's people coming back from injuries and but it's a Conti Cup game, isn't it? So it's a little less important, I think.
Yeah, it's a little less important, but it's still important, isn't it? It's still a cup. I'd like to be in the final and get some revenge.
It's a cup we need to win. We should win.
Yeah. Does anyone know where? Yeah. Sorry, Harry. Does anyone know where we can watch it? I'm not going to be able to watch it because I'll be at training. But
is it not on any TV at the minute or not?
I can't find it. I've just
on the FA Player.
I was thinking it might be on the FA Player. I'm not sure if they're doing the Conti Cup games, are they actually? Let's have a look. I'm not actually sure. I'm not really sure. Where are we? Can't find it.
Yeah, I couldn't find it. It must be the FA Player.
If it will be, it'll be in the FA Player, I'm sure.
Yeah, it possibly will. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think it will be on the FA Player. I think it probably will. They've had other games on there, so let's hope so. Yeah, hopefully it is, because I mean it'd be good if we can watch it. So, but yeah, let's hope we can get 2 good wins this week to go into a really big game next weekend, which obviously we will talk about on the show next Friday. Now we've kind of reached the end of the show. We've gone through a lot of things we had to get through tonight, a lot of positive stuff, a lot of not so positive stuff, but ultimately we've got a lot to look forward to. A big game, of course, on Sunday and on Wednesday as well. Now, we did mention earlier on, of course, Amar can't be with us tonight because it's his birthday and he's obviously busy celebrating as he deserves to do. So, but what we thought we'd do, he is going to watch the show. He did say he's going to watch the show back later when he's got a chance. So I thought what we'd do is we'd have to give a special little moment for Amar. So I thought we'd end the show with a little happy birthday to our good friend Amar. because he's missing tonight. So if we're all ready, and as Terry says there in the chat, he says, Harry, give us a song. Harry, give us a song. And Harry's going to give us a song now, actually. Not an Arsenal song necessarily, but we are going to sing happy birthday to Amar. So Amar, this is just for you, mate. Happy birthday. All the best. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Emma. Happy birthday to you.
Brilliant. There you go, Emma. That's just for you, mate. Hope you had a good day, and we look forward to seeing you again on the show. Hopefully next week.
Well, let's just hope that Arsenal play better than our singing.
Let's hope they do, and let's hope that they put in a good performance for Harry's birthday weekend as well. For Emma's birthday weekend as well, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? And then Andy's put a little cake in the chat as well there for Emma as well. So we spoke him today, haven't we? Actually, which is nice. Anyway, brilliant, fantastic. Anyway, so that's the show for tonight, and the Arsenal Women's Show. A lot of good stuff to get through there. Some good news in the end. It's a good day today. It's been actually. I'm feeling upbeat now after being depressed most of the week, so that's nice. And it's always good. And Terry says, "Yeah, that was dreadful." Well, that wasn't dreadful. What are you on about? I thought it was fantastic. It's the highlight of the show, that. Anyway, I'm sure Emma will appreciate the gesture if nothing else. But anyway, good stuff. Right. So anyway, Andreas, have you enjoyed the show again tonight?
Yeah. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure, and I think it was an interesting discussion. And our performance singing Happy Birthday was not as bad as the girls' performance last Sunday.
No, you're right. It wasn't. We were more in tune with each other than our defence was, anyway. That's for certain. But no, it was great. No, it's great to obviously have you on, Andreas, as you are every week. Fantastic again, Matt. Good to have you back. You enjoyed that?
Yeah, I loved it. And to be honest, I don't think there's a better way to spend Friday nights than sitting down, readjusting, talking about women's football. It's something I love doing. I want to thank you, not just to you, but everyone in the Arsenal Facebook fans forum. And just because without that, I don't think I would know quite a lot of people. It's been a great opportunity. It's been a great experience. I'm enjoying this roller coaster that we call Arsenal Women. And long may it continue, because I'm hoping that we might be maybe doing something for the Euros. And you never know.
Yeah, no, definitely. It'd be nice to. I definitely want to do some stuff for the Euros. And
that reminds me. Sorry, Richard. Yeah. Maybe we can do something in Germany as well for the Wolfsburg game.
That would be good. That would be really good. We'll have to see our travel is at that point in the year. Yeah, you never know. That would be nice, wouldn't it? And Harry as well. Great to have you back on. And I know you can't be on every week, unfortunately, but it's great to have you on when you can. Do you enjoy being on the show again?
Oh, I love it. I really do enjoy it. I'll tell you this. This one's for Terry. If we do win 3-0 and Beth Mead scores, I will sing whatever song Beth Mead asks me to sing.
Oh, please tell me you're doing the vlog as well. This would be brilliant for that.
I'll see what I can do.
That'd be good, actually. That'd be good.
I don't want to promise yet, because it's a bit of a handful with the kids, but I will try to
get your girls involved as well. I'm sure that would be brilliant.
Yeah, it would actually if you could.
Get the kids involved.
Well, get Beth Mead to pick a song, and then you get Beth Mead to pick a song, and you can sing it with Beth Mead after the game. That'd be good. And video it.
We'll see what I can do.
It'll be number one on the download charts, I'm sure. Be brilliant. That'd be brilliant stuff. That actually, fantastic. Andy says, "Yeah, thanks. Let's have a fantastic spring. Yeah, we get a bit through the rest of the winter first." Before we get to spring, but yeah, let's hope so. Terry says, a great show, Richard. Many thanks, Harry, Matt, and Andreas. Thanks, really enjoy it. Have a good one Sunday, Harry. Hope you're more lucky than Matt. Well, yeah, we all hope you're more lucky than Matt. Although Matt has seen us win some games. Let's clear that up straight away. Yes, he's seen us lose a few, but he has seen us win some.
Probably watched the goal of the season with Katie's goal against.
Oh, you did, Aston Villa. That's true. You did, yeah. So it's all good stuff. So let's hope that next time Matt goes to a game, I'm sure we'll win, and then we can put that to bed, can't we? And Terry
Unfortunately, the next game's Man City.
Yeah, so obviously Man City, that's coming up next week. That's going to be a big game. Now, obviously, lots to talk about on that next week's show. That will be good. I might be going to that as well, actually. So that could be a good day, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we've got a couple of big games before then. We need to win, and let's hope we can go to Man City on the back of 2 good wins with 7-point lead at the top of the table. Would be a nice little cushion to have, wouldn't it, going into that big game next week? Assuming Chelsea aren't going to play again, are they? Because they've given up. I think that's the problem. They've got stopped
Can we
playing.
cancel them? Just give us all the points.
Well, yeah, maybe that's what they should do. Yeah, just kick them out of the league, give us all their points as well, and then we'll be like 25 points clear at the top. That'd be nice. Rajendra says, "Great show. Thanks all. Bye for now. Coming to Gunners indeed. I'll be back on Sunday for the watch along of the women's game. Going live about quarter past 2. It's a 2:30 kickoff. I was hoping to be doing the North London derby afterwards, but it seems as though that may well be called off. So maybe it'll just be 1 watch along instead of 2 on Sunday. Obviously, if the North London derby goes ahead, I'll be doing that as well. But it's looking more and more likely that the women's game is going to go ahead again this week, which would be great. So we'll definitely be covering that on Sunday. So please join me for that at 2:15. And then obviously we'll be back with the Arsenal Women's Show next Friday again at 7:30. We'll look back on the Reading game, look back on Man United, look ahead to Manchester City, and any other new signings that may get unveiled or any new contracts next week. Maybe we'll see. So exciting times at the moment. And Terry says, Richard, we all blame Matt after the game last week. Well, no, we don't want to blame Matt. It's not just Matt's fault, is it? He's obviously partly to blame, but we're not going to blame him entirely. We blame him for the FA Cup final defeat. We'll blame him for that one.
Thanks.
And Rajendra says, Spurs got COVID again. No, it's us that's got COVID this time. We've got COVID. And we're trying to call it off. So that's what's going on with that one. But I think the Premier League are announcing it officially tomorrow for definite. We've appealed for it to be off. And the Premier League have just got to say yes or no. No doubt they won't. They'll turn down our plea to get a game called off. Everyone else gets their games called off every time they ask. First time we asked, they're about to say no, aren't they? And we'll have to play with like 6 players or something. So, Harry, if you've got your boots on, get your boots ready for Sunday. You might be called into action at the Emirates. That's at Tottenham ground, isn't it? You may have to fly up there after the women's game and get your boots on and play. I think we've short of players. We all might have to play. That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
But very interesting. Terrible.
No, I'm sure you're not as bad as some of them. But we'll see what happens on Sunday. But yeah, the women's game is almost definitely going ahead, so we will cover that, and we'll see. Wait for the announcement tomorrow on the North London derby. That may well be off at this stage. We shall see. But anyway, we've got a lot to look forward to for the women. We've got a debut for Stina to come very soon. I'm not sure she'll be available on Sunday, will she? But maybe next week, possibly. For the Man City game, that could be a good place to start for her, wouldn't it? A big game like that, make her debut and maybe get a goal or 2. So we'll see. So lots to look forward to. So thanks again to Andreas. Fantastic to have you back on. Matt as well, of course. And Harry is once a month appearance. Hopefully he can be a bit more regular now with a bit of luck. It'll be good to have you back on soon. And I will see you all on Sunday for the watch along. Hopefully 2 watch alongs, but maybe just the 1. And we'll be back for the Women's Show next Friday. We've got another comment that has just come in from Terry there. He says, Kane's fit, this game ain't getting called off. Well, yeah, Son's not though, is he? So I don't think they'd mind so much if it was off. But anyway, we'll see what happens. We'll know tomorrow, won't we? And we'll know then and see if we've got 2 games on Sunday or 1. Either way, we're going to have a good game to watch because the women will be playing, and that's going to be exciting. So that's what we need to worry about. But I'll see you then for that, and see you later. See you next week, obviously, for the Women's Show. Andreas, Matt, and Harry. See you later. Come on, you Gunners. Let's have a good weekend this week. Come on, put last weekend behind us. Have a good weekend, a big win, and we move on. See you later, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
See you guys. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.